Hi guys, it's Ameriie and I am here with my November wrap-up. I realize it's been a little while since I've done a wrap-up, so I've also included a little of what I read in October, and in order to not keep the video too long, I will try not to go into what the book is about for too long. I know I always say that, but I will do my best to do that. I'll start with an ebook that I read last month, The Woman in Cabin 10. I'll put that right here. Now this book is a thriller. It's about a woman who goes on a small cruise to write about what's happening there. I have a lot of thoughts on this book, but I'm going to try to condense it, like I said, because there are quite a few books I wanted to talk about. Let's start with the fact that it's a thriller. It was compared a lot with Gone Girl, The Girl on the Train, you know, The Woman in Cabin 10. It's kind of like in that vein. Here's the thing, I enjoyed this book, but it kind of drove me crazy too, because I don't like that term, too stupid to live. I have problems with that phrase. However, if there's another phrase that could be used other than that, but kind of means something similar, the character feels a little bit like the character in The Girl on the Train. She's kind of in a very pathetic place right now. She's just trying to get her life together. The difference is that this woman is supposed to be a professional. She's going to, what did the Girl on the Train do? I can't remember what The Girl on the Train did. The Woman in Cabin 10 is basically a journalist. She is trying to get to the top of her career, not get any more fluff pieces, but to do some really meaty work. So her boss is unable to go on this trip. This billionaire guy has this new yacht that he's opening to the public. There's only going to be like 10 cabins on there. So she figures she can get a little bit of networking in, as well as kind of, you know, rubbing some shoulders and working her way up. There's a mystery surrounding the woman in cabin 10. I don't want to tell you any more than that, but she sees something and then she isn't believed. Not the woman in cabin 10, the main character. My main thing with this book was that the main character was driving me crazy. She goes on and on about like, no one will believe me. I just want to work my way up to this career to do these really big pieces. And oh, I forgot to ask him this. I got drunk, so I wasn't able to question the person I was supposed to question, you know, involving this mystery, which is really the real thing that's behind what's happening on this ship. This is a meaty story. I need to get on it. Oh, but I'm drunk. Oh, but I forgot to do this and I forgot to do that. She wants to try so hard to get these meaty pieces and to be a serious journalist. She can't even do a fluff piece. I'm like, you should just switch careers because she doesn't know how to do her job on the basic level. So instead of reading the book and thinking, oh, I'm really rooting for this character, I really want her to be able to prove herself, I'm thinking, I think you should just be fired. You're too busy getting drunk. I felt no sympathy for her whatsoever. I felt empathetic toward her. I just thought, this career is probably not for you, because even when you aren't drunk, you don't know how to maneuver to ask the questions you need to ask with this big mystery, or just even to the fluffiest pieces about asking about the boat. All that said, I still did enjoy this book because I found it very entertaining. I was turning the pages to see what was really happening. I felt like I kind of was guessing a little bit what happened regarding the mystery surrounding the entire book, but that didn't bother me at all. I enjoyed it. I would say, because it is going to be compared to Gone Girl, which, you know, The Girl on the Train was compared to, I still think Gone Girl was the best book. I think A Girl on the Train would be second, and then The Woman in Cabin 10 would be third. If you do like these kind of thrillers though, I do think it's worth trying out. I still enjoyed it. Hidden Bodies by Carolyn Kepnes. I really enjoyed this one. There's just something about the narrator, Santino Fontana. He really makes the book. If you guys are interested in this story, You was the first book, Hidden Bodies is part 2, and I don't think there's going to be a part 3. To me, the audiobook is one to own for sure. You can listen to it over and over again because the character, he brings the character so much to life. First of all, it's great writing, and then he's able to add great acting to it, so it's fantastic. If you haven't checked out You, basically it's about being in the mind of a sociopath. Is it a psychopath? I think it's a sociopath. He says a lot of things that are true, actually. So Hidden Bodies takes place after the events of You have transpired, and now Joe is in California having some new adventures. I love this book. Very, very highly recommend. Again, if you are interested in the story, please check out the audiobook. Even if you just listen to the sample on either iBooks or audible.com or wherever you can listen to samples for audiobooks, just listen to the sample. Trust me, go do that. After you watch the video, go do that right away and let me know what you think. We Have Always Lived in the Castle by Shirley Jackson. This was one of my TBR books. I'm glad I read this, you know, but it's more of a, okay, I read it, it's a classic, I got the t-shirt, I'm good. I I didn't love it. I know there's a lot of symbolism here. Women and women's power, having control over your own body. There's even a part where there are firemen running into a house. They're running up the fire hose. Pretty blatant symbolism if you're looking for it. I just found the whole thing a little anticlimactic for me. I was reading the whole thing like, okay, when's this going to really get good? It didn't really do it for me. I'm still going to read The Lottery because I really want to check that out. Overall, I think I was just expecting more. This Savage Song by Victoria Schwab, I meant to get to this a long time ago, but I'm so happy that I read it. I won't go into what it's about because I talked about this in my Friday reads. It's very atmospheric. It's a slow rolling pace. The color combo right here, this is what the world feels like. I really love the relationship between Kate and August. I do think that they are going to eventually have to face off. There's this common understanding they have, so no matter where their life goes, I think that's always going to be there, which might make it a lot harder and more bittersweet when they actually have to face off, but I love the setup. I wish I understood the parental relationship a little bit better. Not her with her mother because her mother passed away earlier, but her father's very present in the book. So there's just something about that relationship that doesn't quite feel like a father-daughter relationship, even though all father-daughter relationships aren't great. I wanted to understand more why her father was the way he was because there was such distance. So much of his character would lead me to think that he would be the type to feel like it's all about blood, you can't trust anyone on the outside, family first, and he wasn't that way. The kind of character that he is feels like that would be his MO. However, when it comes to his daughter, it's just like, it doesn't matter. He's building this whole empire, but usually when people are building an empire, they are building it because they want to leave it to someone, and usually it's going to be blood. There's like this preference of blood over any other kind of relationship. So I didn't quite understand his motivations. But other than that, I'm really enjoying this one and cannot wait to book 2. Finally read Dreams of Gods and Monsters by Laini Taylor. If you remember, this was one of the books that I was telling myself I definitely have to get to this year. I loved this book so much. Now, initially, I started reading this back, I can't remember when, but I stopped around page 20 something. And that was just because I was introduced to a new character and I was thinking, oh, am I gonna have to reread the series? I can't really remember what's going on. And there's a new character. I don't know if I can really invest all this time into this big chunk right now. So I kind of put it off. But then when I sat down to read this, I just loved everything about it. I fell into the world. It was a wonderful ending to the series. I don't want to say too much because this is the final book in a trilogy. The world building is fantastic. You get a lot more of the world building. If there are any questions that you had about book 1 and book 2 regarding the world building, those have been answered. You don't really have to reread books 1 and books 2 because I felt like Laini Taylor did a really good job of catching you up in the beginning. I don't read a lot of romance, but the romance in this trilogy really does it for me. There were a few times, well, wait a minute, no. She definitely had a reason to not, can't tell you that either. Wow. I can't talk too much about this book because, like I said, it'll spoil you. Daughter of Smoke and Bone series, definitely read it, highly recommend. Another book I highly recommend, still reeling from, is Crooked Kingdom by Leigh Bardugo. This is book 2 in the Six of Crows duology, which is part of the Grisha verse. If you haven't read Shadow of Smoke and Bone, wait, no. Wow. You don't have to read the first series to read this second series, but I think that you'll enjoy it more if you do. Won't go into too much details because this is the final book in the duology. Definitely read Six of Crows. What I really loved about both books is that they're very, very character oriented. Now, they are plot-driven books, but the characters really are the heart of the story. The characters are very specific, very distinct. You understand their motivations. I really enjoyed the romance in this. Sometimes it seems like Kaz is a step ahead of everyone, and it is almost funny because it's like, aha, but you thought this, but then I knew that. Aha, actually what I did was this. A couple of times I was like, oh my goodness, Kaz, really? But that's just Kaz. He is just a step ahead. I just love how rich the world is, and I want more of these books. I would love to see more of the books from the gang, but I would also love to see more books that take place in other parts of the world. Six of Crows revolved around a heist, and Crooked Kingdoms is more of a longer con. Aside from the heist in book 1, there was also Kaz's driving motivation. There's a thread that's there in that first book that wasn't resolved. It was just like telling you like the bigger picture aside from the heist. And so that's resolved here. You just have to read this. I am hand selling this to everyone. So that's my November wrap up. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I also hope you had a great reading month. And if you didn't, that you'll be able to make up for it this month because it's the last month in 2016. It's that time where we have to start reading the things that we meant to get to this year. I will be doing a December TBR that has the books that I definitely want to get to this year, although I wish I could read so much more. Anyhow, let me know your thoughts on any of these books if you read it. Again, after this video, check out the sampler for You audiobook. The Hidden Bodies was book 2. Book 1 is You by Carolyn Kepnes. Check it out. Let me know what you think. Let me know what you think. Don't forget to like the video if you liked it. Please share the video and don't forget to subscribe. Until next time, I'll see you guys later. Bye!